Yes, good evening. I am Anuradha, Department of English with Lsrw Institute of Technology and Science. Today I would like to share a brief video on writing skills. As we know, being technical students, we have an idea how the language plays a pivotal role in engineering. So, for example, if we take language and the people are scared about what is writing, speaking, listening, reading, and all these skills are clumsy, and the student they may not understand which skills exactly they need and how they can cater themselves to one by one to adopt all the skills. And today we are going to discuss on language skills. Means it's nothing but 4 language skills of English. What 4 language skills of English? And remaining we don't have any skills in English, only 4. Just these are the pillars of language. Means it's nothing but listening, speaking, reading, writing. All these 4 skills we can call it as pillars of language. Okay, so and today we talk about 4 language skills of English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And why all these 4 skills are very important in language? First we will go through one by one, then we can understand what is the purpose of all these 4 skills or pillars of language. Yes, yeah. And types of language skills we mentioned. We have 4 skills. These 4 skills are divided as part of 2. We can call them as receptive or input. We can call it as 2 skills: reading and listening. And next one, productive or output. So these skills we can call it as writing and speaking. So what we have to conclude in this slide means we have 4 skills. 4 skills are segregated again to, means it's nothing but receptive and productive. So what are the receptive skills? Listening and reading. What are the productive skills? Writing and speaking. Yes. And when do we listen? Okay, we decided and we segregated 4 skills, and again all these 4 skills where we can listen. First we'll go with the listening task. What is the purpose of listening and where we can listen? Just we'll go through it once. Yes, when do we listen? Just we have to question ourselves, when do we listen? And this is a big question. We often listen. We just, wherever we have a listening plays vital role. But it unconscious skill. Means it's nothing but listening. Wherever we go, we can listen. For example, the day-to-day life, we can listen lots of. But the thing we never conscious towards, when do we listen? If anybody asks question, when do we listen? It's a big question. Because we never understand and we never noticed when do we listen, where do we listen. Because we never merge into this concept. Because listening, it happens, but we don't know when we listen, where we listen. Just coming to this session, first when we listen, we can understand where the language, we can understand where we can engage with the language. Just we can see, everyday life we can listen. And lectures, group discussions, brainstorming, presentations, and question and answers, instructions. So, listening plays in these sessions, right? And next we'll go with the listening importance. Okay, first we can understand where we can listen, and next we can, extend the topic. What is the importance of listening? Okay, listening. Listening happened in some context. Okay, it happened. For example, if we take it 24 hours a day, 2 hours we unconsciously engaged in listening. Okay, good. Then, what is the importance of listening? When we listen something, it gives some importance. Let us see what is the listening importance in our day-to-day life. So, improve speaking and pronunciation. How? Means it's nothing but when we listen something, it enhances the improves pronunciation, and speaking we can call it as. And develops interpersonal skills. How? Means it's nothing but listening is refine interpersonal skills. Means it's nothing but unconsciously we listen, but listening refines interpersonal skills. And next, A receptive skills that means active participation. Means active participation means it's nothing but in the first session we can call it as receptive skills that comes under listening and reading. So, and listening and reading, and finally we conclude it. Listening means it's an active participation it needs. Okay. Then we can listening issues. Okay. First we can understand ourselves. What is the importance of listening? Where we can understand. Okay. So listening happens somehow in some place, and the importance we understood. But while we were listening something, we'll come up with many issues. Means issues we can call it as some problems will arise while we are listening. Means it's nothing but what are the problems we can face being the language learners. These are the problems if we scrutinize the listening task very clearly, we can understand the issues of listening. Okay, then we can understand uncertain comprehension is the part of issue listening. Means it's nothing but it's the problem of listening. And the speed of speech means it's nothing but some people if you listen UK accent based videos or audios, there will be some sort of speed will be somewhat accurate, some sort of, they may be sometimes because of accent or their a proper pronunciation. We are not native speakers of language, then obviously we have some sort of uncertainty in their speed. So then obviously the speed is a part of issue in the listening. Yeah, familiarity with local speech means we call it in previous is the accent and vocabulary is the problem. Maybe while some others are, we listen something, sometimes we may not understand the vocabulary and sometimes we may not understand their accent means the pronunciation because there are native speakers or maybe they're accustomed to the particular, we can call it as dialects, we can call it as they can accustomed to the one type of culture. So sometimes we can call it as we may not understand. We're trying to draw 100% effort, but sometimes it will be useless because of their accent and they're accustomed to the accent culture. Okay, then missing words, concepts, instructions, we can call it as, for example, if we start something, if we take a GRE or TOEFL exams, they can give a task about what we call listening tasks. Sometimes they can ask you listen the video and understand the concept, what the audio stands on. But sometimes we miss the concept because we may not understand what the people really wants to convey. But they thought that they are clear. But being a very initial learner, sometimes we miss and sometimes we can understand the accent, but sometimes we miss to find the word meaning. Next, lack of confidence to ask for repetition. So, and sometimes because of fear or anything, we may not ask, could you please repeat that? Because maybe some, inhibitions, we may not ask properly. That's, we couldn't say where we can. Hearing difficulties means it's nothing but sometimes you're going to listen something, there you can find some audio problems. Maybe it's nothing but some technical glitches. Maybe the audio is not good. Maybe maybe some technical glitches will interrupt your listening. Next, listening solution. Okay, we find where we can listen, why we can listen, and what are the problems we can face, and what are the solutions. Maybe we can call it as where there is a problem, there is a solution. So, and these are the solutions to adopt to we can call it as to adopt and delete your any shedding inhibitions of listening. Yes. Excuse me. So, active listening requires participation, not passive reception. So, listening means it's nothing but here we have two tasks, active listening and passive listening. So, whatever you are going to listen actively. For example, while you are listening, there are some nuts, there are some unwanted maybe, you may not understand about some sentences or words. You never bother about all these nonsense. Just you can think about, okay, your activity should be in active way. Either you can understand or not, it doesn't matter. Yes, and engage with the sounds and words, and try to make just you have to listen continuously, but you have to listen volumes daily, multiple volumes. Then obviously accustom to the words and sounds. Once you accustom to the words and sounds, then obviously it gives some sort of familiarity. Maybe you can't understand the meaning. Somehow it's not a problem. But you can understand when you accustom, when you familiar to that word, that registered in your mind. So that's we can call it as unconscious learning. Yes. Ensure you are aware of the subject before lectures. Yes. While you are listening, but we never try on anonymous videos or anonymous audios. Because whenever you are going to listen something, you make yourself aware of the subject. Once you are not having any sort of awareness towards the subject, then obviously your total lecture will be collapsed. Okay, so the thing what we have to do, the first thing, you have to aware of the subject. Once you are aware of the subject, while you are listening, you can understand at least 70% there is a scope to understand. Yes, and read key vocabulary into background reading. So it's nothing but we have to, while we are listening, we have to understand. Maybe if you get any sort of manual script, try to underline keywords and start listening, that would be fine. The next, mental repetition. Then we can call it ask for clarification, listen to radio, TV, other media. So these are the comes under solutions of reading. Okay, the next part is listening is completed. Then immediately we can turn to the speaking. Why speaking, what speaking, when speaking, where we can have a speaking, and what are the solutions we can have by listening. Alright, so while we start all these things by what is the purpose of speaking? The listening is successfully completed. Then what is the purpose of speaking? Why speaking is important? And being a learner, speaking is important. Is it mandatory? Of course it's mandatory issue if you come into the 4 pillars of language. Yes. When do we speak? When do we speak? And often we speak. Right? Often we speak in Telugu, not English. Okay, we got this and by today we are living a global culture. So obviously, if we step out after completion of our academics or our degrees, then immediately we will be in the, mix and match culture. That's the global culture. Then obviously we have to speak continuously. Either others can understand or not, that's we can call it as better English. Alright, so it's classic group discussions, group task work, seminars, you all familiar of all these things. But let's be chuck and class group discussions we have an idea, group task work we have an idea, seminars presentation we have an idea, question and answers in lectures we have an idea, one-to-one sessions we have an idea. What all these things we can have? So these are all the familiar in day-to-day evaluation. So these are the concepts we accustomed to speak daily. Alright. Yes. Okay. Where we speak and we can understand. And what is the importance of speaking we need to understand. So it's nothing but any skill. If you wanna get the skill, this is the way we can. Where, when, why, what. We can call it as 4-wheel corner. Means it's nothing but when, where, what, and why. This will somewhat restrict to you like a journalism questions, right? Alright, so it's the most obvious skill. Oh, speaking is obviously most obvious skills. Why? Speaking is most obvious skills. Okay, somehow just you can imagine. We can make ourselves 10 days without doing writing. We can make ourselves 10 days without reading. But we can make ourselves without listening. But we can't make ourselves without speaking. Is continuously 10 days. It's like, very scary question. If anybody asks you, will you be silent with 10 minutes? Will you be silent for 10 days? Oh my God. It's a big embarrassing question and it's a big scary question. Alright, so obviously speaking is the part and parcel of our life. We need to accept it. Yeah, deliberately. Yeah, most obvious skill, most interactive skill, develops understanding through communication, develops interpersonal skill and used in assessment. Just you can go through one by one. These are all technical terminology. It gives some sort of bit confusion. Okay, just I'll make you just like right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's nothing but speaking. Yeah. Why the speaking? Speaking we can call it as listening, speaking, reading and writing. So we thought that this speaking part plays vital role, and we can segregate these 4 skills as similar, but unconsciously it gives 60% it gives plays a vital role. Why? This 60%, then it's nothing but speaking wherever we are is the person has good communication skills or not, is the person attitude is good and bad, and everything our speech represents what we are intentionally, right? So the speaking part plays vital role. For example, if you start saying something, now I can speak a whole day, but I'm not good communicator, means it's nothing but your speech makes you are a good communicator or you are a bad communicator. Means we can call it as, I'm sorry to say good communicator, bad communicator. Instead we can use active communicator or passive communicator. Yeah, why? The people can call him as active communicator and the people can call him as passive communicator. So these two comes under the person perceptions. Yeah. For example, we have 2 boys. One boy is very, extrovert, and morning to evening he is super duper communicative. But his communication part is totally collapsed. And there's the person who is a moderate speaker, but the people can turn him as, he's active speaker, and the people will give right voting to him. Right? What is the reason here? Means it's nothing but we have 2 people, and 2 people mindset comes from their speech. Means it's nothing but consciously or unconsciously speaking design our attitude, speaking design our communication, speaking design our how to say totally speaking is your character. Okay, so it's nothing but why speaking is our character. Yes, means it's nothing but speaking designs our entire balance. Means you have as a day-to-day life we have such a emotions and such a communication totally. We never been to the only active communication. Sometimes we have to face some passive communication or some arguments we have. So everything we can come with a fine speaking skills, a good communication skills. A good communication skills stands on good speaking skills. Yes. And next we'll go with we'll go with next slide. Yes, we'll go with I don't know. Yes, okay, let it be, no problem. Okay. Yeah, speaking issues, lack of confidence is the part of speaking issues, and the people, maybe some people, they have a beautiful ideas in their mind, but they totally fail to communicate because of, we can call it as lack of confidence makes the people very worse speakers, or only the reason behind this lack of confidence. Uncertain about timing, vocabulary, interaction. Maybe it's nothing but the people may not aware of vocabulary and all these interactions, and timing is a part and parcel of it. And decoding of non-verbal information and lack of knowledge of presentation skills. Means it's nothing but the speaking skills, their speaking skills not at all good. Maybe they thought that they have a full-fledged idea about their speaking, but the problem is they don't know how to present it and plan it. planning is a part of presentation, then the presentation, either your presentation is good or it's going to blockbuster or it's going to be collapsed. It depends on your planning. So if you have a proper plan, means it's nothing but introduction, means it's nothing but time management. Plan means here. So if you have all these things in a certain period, then obviously your work will be amazing. Yeah. And the next we'll go with the speaking solution. Okay, we have where we can speak and why we can speak and what are the problems we face we have. And now we can understand what are the solutions we can find to, find the solution for speaking. How we can refine our speaking with these solutions. Maybe these solutions we can use for to refine your skills. Yes. Take every opportunity to speak. Maybe you never think about others, what others are thinking about. It's none of your business. Whatever you know, just try to engage yourself, try to involve yourselves with others with a sound, confident, and ask questions. Maybe some people are, they are good at speaking, but they are hesitating to ask questions. But asking questions is a part of speaking. While we are logical, then we know we have a handful of experience how to face the audience. Then our questions will be logical. But we don't know all these things, but straight away we think that we are going to ask a question. And before we are going to ask the questions, we need to understand ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, is a question valid question or invalid question? Means it's nothing but is a question suits to the concept or not. That would be mandatory. And next, use academic skills resources. Means it's nothing but presentation space. Means it's nothing but whenever you get chance to give a number of presentations or make yourself comfortable to involve with the volumes of people. Yeah, observe native speakers. So just whenever we have a time, engage yourself how the native speakers follow their accent, and just we have a look, and we have two types of learning. One is conscious learning and another one is unconscious learning. Whether you don't want, you are not going to 100% concentrate on what others are doing, but just have a look or keep an eye on that. Not an eagle eye, just you have keep an eye on that. Is a consciously, unconsciously, but it gives a strength to your speaking. Yes, repeat. Repeat means it's nothing but whatever you are going to do something. If others who may not understand or you or may not understand, it's not a problem. If you ask question 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, it's not a, it's a crime. Just you can, it's not a problem. Yes, and ask for clarification. That's what we discussed in listening or speaking. If you are going to ask a number of questions, the people may not think that he's like a question bank or anything. Just the people can understand you are such a person to need clarity in your question. Yes. And next we'll go with the reading. When do we read? And obviously reading is as we can call it as ongoing activity. We'll see in the next class about reading. Thank you.